The Baldur's Gate 3 modding toolkit has been unlocked, which has opened Pandora's box for possibilities in terms of what's to come next for the game. Now, games like Skyrim are still played to this day because they have so much in terms of new quests, maps, etc. that's been added to the game. So we may potentially see more things in Baldur's Gate 3, such as new campaigns, quests, maps, NPCs with voice acting, and much more. I'll be exploring all of that in this video because over the last month, there's been a lot of developments and very cool things made. So I just want to touch on this because I actually got into Dungeons and Dragons heavily because of this game, and I hope that WOTC, Wizards of the Coast, allows this to happen because this has gotten so many new fans to the Dungeons and Dragons community. But I guess we will see what happens next with this. So first things first, the modding toolkit unlocked. This unlocks all features and write permissions for BG3 toolkit, including level editing, save editing, and more. What does this mean? Well, this basically becomes the toolkit that Baldur's Gate 3 developers use to make the game itself. This opens everything up. It's incredible. I've been using the modding toolkit a bit now just to get comfortable with it, but having it unlocked, you can do so much more. So you can create maps, you can change everything around, and the sky is really the limit as far as what you can do with this. So this is pretty crazy. Siegfried, the creator Siegfried, made this and unlocked it. So yeah, this is what the modding toolkit looks like. But then there's also like a sandbox and stuff that you can get added to this, and you can create so much more with this now. So yeah, it didn't take long for this to get unlocked. But if you follow the Baldur's Gate 3 mods community on Reddit, you're going to see a lot of cool things like this here. Made by Lotrich 3, and they're one of the biggest developers so far in terms of new things being added to the game. So you can see here a custom map in the city. They're working on this. This is through the mod manager toolkit itself. So you can see there's quite a bit going on there, and yeah, this looks crazy. This is just getting started in terms of things that we're going to see. I'm also going to talk about some of the other things outside of maps, but I just want to show off some of the cool things that are being made so far because this is really interesting. Baldur's Gate 3's got a lot of cool things going on already with it, but adding more things can make this game very popular for 10-20 years to come. Neverwinter Nights, they had a map editor as well, which allowed for custom campaigns to be made as well. If you played that, you'd be aware of many of the creative projects that were made within that game. But yeah, seeing things like this is very motivating. Now, this is another thing that I've seen. This is like a tavern that was made. A group of the Yawning Portal in map on the Baldur's Gate 3 mods subreddit, and so far this looks really cool. Foreign Character 29 made this, the Yawning Portal in. Very cool potential quest line being made for that, and finalizing dialogue and all that. What's interesting is we could even see little tiny additions to the map. People are talking about like an Avernus DLC, but even adding in like different guilds and things like that akin to Skyrim would be very cool. And I think like a lot of people would get into this game seeing all the nice new things that are getting added to it. This is one thing I found here, but also another by Lotrich, the Curse Shrine boss fight. So you can see this is a very cool looking map, unlike stuff that we have already in the base game. And there's walking up there with the Mark of Heshker staff. This is potentially going to be a boss fight, having the skeletons there, but the possibilities are pretty much endless as far as this goes. So Lotrich 3 again has made a lot of really cool developments so far. We have an underground, or the Underdark map unlocked, which I'll be showing off a bit later in this video. This is interesting. Maybe we'll see Menzoberranzan in Baldur's Gate 3. We'll have to see, but it looks very cool. Seeing some of these images is very inspiring. Here is Avernus, made by Kassenberger, and this kind of looks like Caelid if you've played Elden Ring. It's got the mushrooms and the red swampy stuff. Kind of Avernus feeling, kind of Elden Ring feeling, and the lands between. So very interesting to see. I was blown away. This is one of the first things that was released 28 days ago. So we're about a month in, and I've been digging around trying to find what's going to happen with all of this because I was very curious. Seeing all these new maps and areas being added to the game, it opens up, as I said, Pandora's box for many more things. You can see the mushroom ground there, similar to Caelid. But yeah, this could potentially be more stuff being added to Baldur's Gate 3 someday. Here's another update of the Caelid map by Katzenberger 20 days ago. And yeah, this is quite interesting because we're getting a whole lot of new content from what it looks like. This may or may not end up being something that's added to the game. It won't come to the in-game mod manager, unfortunately, so people that are playing on console will likely not get to see these things, which is unfortunate, but PC gaming is really where it's at if you want to get into modding and playing modded games. So not everyone has a PC, I understand that, but yeah, to get the more in-depth ones, you do likely have to have a PC because the in-game mod manager will not allow this. So yeah, you can see here the map is absolutely massive. Bunch of new things in it as well, and I think that was really cool. Katzenberger has done a lot so far in this. They haven't posted any updates in about 3 weeks now, so I'm not sure what's going to be happening. This is kind of like their last update on this, so we'll have to see what goes on with that. But Promenado Walking Rest custom map here by Lotrich 3. There's some interesting comments on it. Like, this looks incredible, almost akin to Baldur's Gate 2, but in Baldur's Gate 3's engine. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now, it looks like people are making things pretty rapidly, but I don't know the actual, like, how well this will work out because, again, like, this does obviously take lots of hours, and people aren't being paid for this. It's for out of their own free time. But this person's Lotrich 3 definitely needs a few months. As you can see my post, I'm in Underdark Cursed Shrine, which is in the Underdark, working on at Katla, Menzoberranzan, and all these locations we connected during unique quest line. Nothing. Now about the development, of course, I'm not doing it alone. The tech part, about the voice actors, we are already in the process of recording and integrating the voice lines into the mod. Writers team working on quests. Incredible! That is absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, a lot of this is unpaid work, so they're working really hard to really enhance the overall modding community for this game. It takes a whole village to really be putting something like this together. I would love to get into voice acting at some point and be able to contribute to these things because I think that that's really cool and pushing the community forward in terms of what is possible. So quests with voice acting and different locations, this is really cool. So Lotrich 3 really doing a lot in terms of creating new content, and from their own channel here, you can see here a custom map that was made. This is really interesting. As they said in the comments, this is going to be in the history books for real. Like, this is crazy. Seeing what's being made and what's possible to come in the future, that is just beautiful. So I'm curious to see a year from now where this will be, because a month in, people are already making some pretty cool looking stuff. Obviously not to the extent of what Baldur's Gate 3 is as a game, but like, this is a really interesting new development that we got. New maps, quests potentially. I don't know about campaigns, how that will work, because obviously the story of Baldur's Gate 3 isn't something that's easy to put together. Like, that's why getting into Act 3 ends up being somewhat buggy for some people, from what I've heard, because all the quests are interlinking and going through like a massive thing. So I think that potentially with time we may see some new maps being added to the game. Maybe it'll be like a portal that you go to, almost akin to like a DLC update. I don't think it's possible to add a new campaign right from like the start, playing through and doing something different. If you want that, the Wizards of the Coast have their own version of that if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I would recommend just going and using that over something like this. I don't think new campaigns will come, but new quest lines, new maps, and things added into Baldur's Gate 3 as a whole, it looks like that's very possible, because 1 month in, we're already getting like new locations here from Lotrich, new fights, new encounters, and a whole bunch of new stuff. Potentially we'll see new enemies if people are going to model them and have animations for them. That could take a little bit more time, but it's definitely a possibility. As you can see there, lots of stuff coming. And on Lotrich's channel here, they have a bunch of different videos of things that they've put together. Very interesting, like Joaquin's map. Here, this is one of the earlier images that I showed off. Yeah, like, this is incredible. If they could really get this put together and added to the base game, the modding community will take off. Obviously, this will be something that would be on Nexus Mods itself, but just seeing this is very inspiring because, hey, this is like a full-on game here. So, yeah, that's incredible. But, yeah, just want to showcase some of these here because I think that looks really cool. And this is one of the earliest updates that we had, the Caelid map here. So you can see, like, these are the points based on the map that was being made. So I was trying to make some mods, and you can get loaded into the base game. So they could even edit things from the base game, change the map and how it looks. Not sure how that will all relate. Maybe they can make it a way that you can go back to the Act 1 areas and it's like destroyed or something, or many different changes to the areas. But yeah, it could be very interesting to see what happens in terms of this, because there's so much being done already, like Caelid literally in Baldur's Gate 3. So yeah, just want to highlight some of these because the toolkit can really open things up as far as new content creation goes. This was actually one of the other work in progress updates that they've had. So it looks very much like Kaled there. This is by the Channel S. So the previous creator that I showed there. But basically showing off how to trigger some of these things to happen. And a lot of cool custom maps being made here, which is just interesting to see. But I'm not too sure what else is going to happen. I don't think personally that there'll be custom campaigns, but we could even see things that, like, let's say change the Baldur's Gate 3 map around. So like maybe there's like new buildings where you click on a door and that door transports you to a whole different location in the game. Like they could put like a portal right here and you could just click on that, go to Avernus or something like that. So the possibilities are pretty endless. Like the map itself is already quite beautiful in Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think that modders will be able to top what is done in the base game. And I don't think that there's any risk to people, you know, not using any Dungeons and Dragons related products online, because this is just contained to Baldur's Gate 3. There's a lot more that could be potentially done with this, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what all happens. I'm quite impressed so far with what has been made for the mod manager and what's potentially to come. I may try to see what's happening with that, because I find this all very interesting and very unique changes to the game, which I am excited to see. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'll try and respond to as many comments as possible regarding this, because I think that this is an interesting development. I'm happy with what we got already in the mod manager, but hey, new areas could be pretty cool to explore as well. So I'm all for things like that. So yeah, hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Go check out the Dungeons and Dragons online, because that is another really cool way to get your fix for all things Dungeons and Dragons. Just wanted to plug that there, because I don't think that they're in direct competition with one another, but still just wanted to touch on that because, hey, I don't think that this will distract from people getting into Dungeons and Dragons. If anything, I got into playing Dungeons and Dragons because of Baldur's Gate 3, so I think that this could bring a lot of new people, much like what happened with Skyrim and lots of people getting into that style of game and how it's been revolutionary for RPGs. So yeah, just want to give my thoughts on this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.